Good morning, everyone, and welcome back as we begin today the BEIS HALEVI's Maimer HaBitachon, his classical essay on Bitachon, on having trust and faith and reliance in Hashem. And he begins in the very beginning the following words: Bitachon havi mitzvah. First of all, you need to know that Bitachon is a mitzvah. Just like Shabbos is a mitzvah, just like keeping kosher, eating kosher food is a mitzvah, just like putting on tefillin every day is a mitzvah that HaKadosh Baruch Hu commands us in, so too a person living a life of bitachon, of relying upon the Ribbono Shel Olam and recognizing that everything is in his hands and comes from him. It is a mitzvah, it is an obligation that a person is fulfilling every time that he is beiteach, that he trusts in Hashem. So bitachon of a mitzvah. It is an obligation, it is a mitzvah that a person must keep. Choyves habitachon ba bepsukim harbe rabu mispar. The obligation, the mitzvah bitachon, is something that appears in many different psukim, many different verses throughout the Torah. And there's rabu mispar, there's too many to count. That's how many times the Torah itself alludes to this great commandment of being a beiteich in Hashem. Now it should be noted that the more that the Torah emphasizes something, the more verses that the Torah dedicates to a certain mitzvah and an idea, it means the more chashiv, the more prominent and important it is in the eyes of Hashem. So says the BEIS HALEVI, you should know that there's so many psukim in the Torah that revolve around the mitzvah bitachon. I'm not even going to list all of the psukim, the verses that are here. Just know that it's a great thing, says the BEIS HALEVI. HaKadosh Baruch Hu spends a lot of time on it in his Torah, and it's something that a person has to understand is a prominent and an important and essential mitzvah in our life as a Jew. Someone who is lacking bitachon, that means they're going through a situation in life when they need to be trusting and relying in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and they fail in that area. They complain, they argue with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, they have tainas, they have regrets and complaints against the Ribbono Shel Olam. They put their faith in people instead of Hashem. Whatever the case might be, someone that is lacking bitachon, avera gedoylahi, he is transgressing a very great sin. Now, the sin that a person transgresses for not having bitachon, the BEIS HALEVI later on will say, is hisham lecha pen tishkach es Hashem. The verse says, be careful lest you forget Hashem. A person who lacks bitachon is someone that is forgetting about the Ribbono Shel Olam. And a person who forgets about HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that's a terrible avera, that's a sin in and of itself, because our life is supposed to be a life that is reminded constantly and focused in on HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And therefore, if you don't have bitachon when you're supposed to, so therefore you're transgressing this avera of forgetting about Hashem. Now that being said, there's another terrible thing that comes as a result of lacking bitachon. How are you going to be able to get through this situation in life that HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself is placing you in? How are you going to deal with the challenges that Hashem is sending your way in life? How are you going to overcome the difficulty or the tragedy or the hardship or the situation in your life that is unknown and that is uncomfortable? How are you going to be able to stand up to that nisayon, to that challenge, if a person doesn't have bitachon? How are you going to go through the situations in life that are hard for you if you think that you're all by yourself and you don't realize that the Ribbono Shel Olam is the one who's sending you this situation? HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the one that's putting you into this test, and Hashem is the one that is standing by your side, and He just wants you to believe in Him and to trust in Him, and He's going to help you through every single step of the way. If a person is lacking bitachon, not only are they transgressing the mitzvah, that the many psukim, as we will see, the many verses that are out there that obligate us to trust in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, but a person has transgressed a terrible sin. And that is the verse that the BEIS HALEVI himself points out, but even more than that, a person is not going to be able to live with Hashem. They will not be able to overcome the challenges of life. They will not know that when they are going through something that is difficult and is hard to understand, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is standing right next to them the entire step of the way, holding onto their hand, caressing them, hugging them, loving them, and being with them to support them through whatever they have to go through. And therefore, a person who has bitachon, he lives in another realm. He lives in the world of Hashem. A person who doesn't have bitachon, that person, his relationship, his connection to the Borei Olam, to the Creator of the world, who is the Mashkiach, who's watching over him, who's intimately involved in his life, that relationship is weak, and it is severed, and it is very distant from the mind and the heart and the soul. And therefore, in the very opening lines over here, the Beis HaLevi informs us that not only is Bitachon a great mitzvah, and we're going to see tomorrow, Be'ez Hashem, some of the sources for that mitzvah, but it's also a terrible aveir, it's a terrible sin when a person lacks it. And the sin is, we're cut off from the Ribbono Shel Olam. HaKadosh Baruch Hu created us to be connected to Him. And Be'ez Hashem, if we're mechazik, we strengthen our bitachon, we will live a life from morning until night. And even when you're sleeping in your bed, peacefully and calmly, you'll be a person who lives a life that is connected, that is strongly fortified, that is supported, and that is reliant upon the Borei Olam, the Creator and the Master of this universe, who of course has our best interest in mind with everything that He does for us, with everything that He does to us, and everything that we end up going through in lifetime. So as we're just embarking on the mitzvah bitachon over here, let's begin to look for the ways in our lives that we can deepen the connection that we have with the Master of the universe through this great and this lofty and this incredible mitzvah of bitachon, of trusting and relying in Hashem. Have a wonderful day.